Okay, so I have tried to see this nervous system, as I told you about the respiratory system and the digestive system or any other system. It is like huge. Okay, so you study just about the neurons in your 9th and 10th level. When you go to 11th level, you talk about the action potential. Okay, and little more in depth when you go to 12th or for your entrance examinations. Okay, so today I'm going to just touch from the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, all the parts. Not very deep inside, very deep in the science. I'll not be using few very in-depth words and all. Okay, but I'll try to explain actually what happens in the nervous system. Okay, so in that nervous system, about the neuron, about the structure, it is like most of you know that. Okay, what is a neuron, how it looks like, what is the major three parts in that and all, right? So I'll be talking more on the action potential today. Okay, like exactly how the messages are being sent across the neurons, right? My voice is clear, Vijay?
Yes, ma'am.
Please respond. Okay, right. So I'll just start, let others join. So you can put the heading nervous system. Okay. So in this, like, what is the basic unit of the nervous system? What is the basic unit of the nervous system?
Neurons.
Correct. Okay, neurons. So this we all know that neurons are the basic and structural unit of a nervous system. Okay, what it means, maybe Giridhar, like there are so many neurons which get interconnected to give the nervous system. Sorry. Okay, so like as I told you, always I used to tell you, don't get confused between neurons and nephrons. Okay, so nephron is for kidney. Okay, the nephron is the structural, basic and structural unit for the kidneys. Okay, and neurons is for your nervous system. Okay, so as given in all the books, we have to go start first with the structure of neuron. Okay, so can you tell me your information on this? Please put structure of neuron as the heading. Just clear this about. Is this color okay? Or shall I change it to black? Shall I change it to black?
This is okay, ma'am.
This is okay. So it will be piercing your eyes. That's why I asked you. Okay. Structure of neuron, right? Yeah. Structure of neuron, right? So what do you know about the structure of neuron?
A neuron has dendrites, cell
Okay.
body,
Okay.
axon, and nerve endings.
Okay. Right. Okay. So what we know or what we have seen a structure like this. Okay. There'll be some finger-like projections. Then from there, a big tube comes out, and the tube will get end in something like this. Okay, again a finger-like projection. Okay, so this is the basic structure of the neuron. Okay, so as Vijay told, like these are called as the dendrites. Okay, these are called as the dendrites, and this complete structure, okay, this complete structure is called as cytone. Okay, in few books you can see it as written cytone. Some books you can see it is written as cell body. It is also called as soma. Okay, soma has come from the somatic cells. And you know that there are two types of cells, if you have heard somewhere, somatic cells and the germ cells. So somatic stands for the cell, body cells. Okay. So please keep all these three names in your mind: cytone, cell body, and soma. Right. And when you go down, this part is called as the axon. Okay, this part is called as the axon, and this is our nerve endings. Right? Sri Lakshmi and all are not there in this batch. They all are there now in this batch. I just post a message. Yeah. Okay. So now this is the basic structure. Yeah. Yeah, Sri Lakshmi, you joined.
I have some. My phone is hanging, so
Okay, right. Okay, right. So, Sri Lakshmi, we have started with the nervous system today. Okay, and I have started with the structure of neuron, right? So you might have studied the structure of the neuron before. Yeah, Sri Lakshmi, hope it is audible.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll just repeat it. This is a structure of neuron, how it looks like. Okay, so it has mainly three parts. One is your this part. Okay, the finger, like this is the first part, this is the second part, the middle part, and this is the third part, right? So the first part is called as the cytone, okay, or the cell body. These are the common terms you can see. Other than these two, it is also sometimes called as soma. Okay, so soma has come from the somatic cell. Okay, somatic cell. Then you can see these finger-like projections, they are called as dendrites. So dendrites are the one which actually receive the informations. Okay, then the middle part is called as axon. Okay, and this end one is called as nerve endings. Okay, so when you see your I mean your 10th, 9th or 10th level, it is just given all these 3 points. Then they have given an additional information that the informations are being sent via, I mean, in the form of electrical impulse. Srinidhi also joined now. Srinidhi, you are there? Hello, Srinidhi.
Ma'am, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yeah, Srihari, I can hear you. I'm calling Srinidhi. You have something to say, Srihari?
No, ma'am, I thought you called me.
No, no, no. Srinidhi is trying to log in. Srinidhi, can you? Okay, she's just. Srinidhi, can you hear me? Srinidhi?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes. Okay, so Srinidhi and Sri Lakshmi, I have started with the nervous system today. Okay, and I have started with the structure of neuron. Okay, so the structure of neuron, like as I was telling you in the starting, that this is just one page to your 9th and 10th level, but of course when you go to the 11th and 12th level, it is in depth. Okay, and it's a very important system, and a system which we actually, digestive, respiratory and all, we always hear about it and we are aware of it. Okay, but this nervous system, we don't talk much on this. Okay, so please give attention, take down the notes. I'm very sure the notes which I'm going to give you today is going to help you till your entrance exams. Okay, you can keep your mic off, Srinidhi. Yeah. So the structure of neuron, it has three parts. The first one is the cytone or cell body, or it is called as soma. Soma is a new word. The middle one is called as the axon, and the third is called as the nerve ending. Okay. In your book, it is written like they have given the structure of all these. I mean, the part of all these, and they have given one more point that the messages are being sent in the form of an electric impulse. Electrical impulse. Okay, that's all is given in your NCERT. Okay, and somewhere it has been given that action potential is generated. Because of that only the electrical impulses are being sent. Okay, so let me go into little more depth. Okay, so now this portion, this particular, there your cytone is there, after that your axon is there. Okay, this like our neck. Okay, so suppose if you take our face as the cytone and our body, I mean down part, as the axon. So this our neck, this region is also is called as axon hillock. Okay, axon hillock. Okay, this part, maybe this part. Okay, this part is the axon hillock. Okay, this part is important because I'll tell you why afterwards. Okay, then yeah. Yeah. Now,
Cytone, cell body, and what is that?
soma. It has come from the somatic cells. You know that in our body there are two types of cells, right? Germ cells and somatic cells. Always somatic means body. Okay, so it has come from that soma. In some of the books you can see it is written as soma. Okay, and of course it has a nucleus at the center. Okay, and the portion surrounding the nucleus. Okay, the portion surrounding the nucleus, this portion is also having a name called as perikaryon. Okay, perikaryon. Karyon in the cell, nucleus. So it is outside the nucleus. So it is called as perikaryon. Okay. Now let me take you to, see, this much is your 10th level. Okay. Coming to your entrance level, what all things I'm going to tell you now is to your entrance level. Okay. Now in few books, if you have seen or not, I don't know. Nodes of, have you heard of these terms? Nodes of Ranvier.
Nodes of Ranvier are present between the axons. No?
Yes, correct. Okay.
The small
Nodes,
points in the axon.
the small. What is that, Vijay?
Nodes of Ranvier are just like some points between the axon.
Correct. Okay. So like that's what I said. Like a good Vijay. Like you in your book it is given, or wherever from Vijay has got it. They have just given that in the axon there are some points which are called as nodes of Ranvier. Okay. But you know it has huge more things inside that. Okay. When I explain that, you will understand that it was not just a dot on the axon. Okay. Now listen very carefully. Now listen very carefully. I'm going to just rub this. I need a new page. Is it over?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah. So now what happens on the axon part? Okay, that is in that long branch. There are some cells. Okay, which are called as Schwann cells. You might have heard of now this word also. You might have heard all the words, but you don't know in depth because till 10th it is not been taken in depth. Okay. So there are some cells which are called as Schwann cells. Okay. Now let this be the Schwann cell. Okay. Now what happens? These Schwann cells, you just stretch these Schwann cells. So it becomes like this. This Schwann cell has complete cytoplasm inside that. Okay, because this is a cell, so the cell will have It's a normal cell. So this given cell will have cytoplasm completely filled. So what happens? You just see whatever I'm saying, you have to just assume it. You're just going to stretch it. Okay. So the shape becomes something like this. Okay, it becomes like this. Okay. So this is your axon part of your neuron. On this, you have many Schwann cells. Okay, now I'm zooming up just one Schwann cell. Okay, you have stretched it or it gets elongated, and what it will do, now it has complete cytoplasm, it start pushing the cytoplasm to one end. Okay, it push all the cytoplasm to the one end. So this end is having no more cytoplasm, it is just having the double layer plasma membrane. Okay, so hope you all know the structure of the cell, right? It has a center nucleus, then it is having the cytoplasm, then it has a double layer plasma membrane. These things you have studied in your structure of animal cells, right? So when you're pushing all the cytoplasm to one end, you are left out with the plasma membrane, and that too, the plasma membrane is double layer, right? Now, what happens in the double layer plasma membrane? There is a secretion of a white substance. Okay, the Schwann cells, it secrete a white substance which is called as myelin. If you understand this story, you can attend any question coming from this nervous system in your entrance. Okay, just when you go to your higher classes, you have to just fine tune it. That's it. Okay. So what happened? It will this Schwann cells, it produces a white substance called myelin. Okay. And this myelin will only get accumulated in the plasma membrane, not in cytoplasm. Okay, so this complete myelin, it gets stored in the plasma membrane. Okay, right? Now what happens? See, if this is the axon. Okay, now this is our structure of the Schwann cell. Okay, now this part, that is the plasma membrane, it starts rotating on the axon. It becomes like this. It starts rotating on the plasma membrane. Like if there is a Schwann cell, it starts rotating. Which starts rotating? Only the plasma membrane part. The cytoplasm will be still on the top. I think you can assume it. Okay, only this part will start coiling up around the axon. Okay, so it looks, when you see the axon, it looks like wherever there was Schwann cell, there was some coiling. Okay, right? Now what is this coiling has? What does it has? It has the myelin sheath. We call this as a myelin sheath. Did you understand? So the thing is that you have to assume it. Now you have the axon.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I did not understand the myelin sheath alone, ma'am. Can you explain?
Yeah. I'm doing it. I'm doing it again. Okay. See, you have the axon, right? On axon, you have some specialized cell called as the Schwann cells. Okay. Now what happens? These Schwann cells are entirely different from the other cells. Okay. They secrete a white substance called as myelin. The name of the substance, okay, the name of the substance is myelin. It's a white color substance. Okay, now what is the property, what is a very peculiar property of this myelin is that it cannot get accumulated in the cytoplasm. Okay, for that your Schwann cell, now this is the Schwann cell, right? This is the Schwann cell. It undergo a type of elongation. It elongates its body. It elongates its body and it will push all the cytoplasm to one side. Did you understand? So that you will have only the plasma membrane and the myelin can be easily generated in that. Okay. After that, what happened when the myelin is completely filled in this portion? Okay. Now this portion alone get wrapped on the axon. So now suppose this is one Steven cell. Okay, it got elongated and the plasma membrane alone gets coiled like this. So we call, so a sort of layer is formed. Okay, you can see a sort of layer is formed in this layer is called as the myelin sheet. It is nothing, it is a sheet. Sheet means a cover. It's just a cover which is made up of myelin. That's it.
Yes, ma'am. Understood, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Got it? So, see, again, I'm telling you, these things, you cannot get it in your 9th, 10th books. Okay, this is something which I'm taking off your entrance level. Okay, so please try to understand each and everything. Then only you will be able to understand the action, potential, and other things. Okay, now you understood all these things, right? Now let me come back to the steps and please tell me whether you are able to relate it. Shall I clear it? Vijay, Sri Lakshmi, Srinidhi and all.
Ma'am?
Yes,
Shall I,
1 minute, ma'am.
yeah. Shall I clear it?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now what I'm going to write is what you have to write it. Okay. And try to tell me that you're able to understand. Okay. Now, before writing, I'll just tell you. So now our action is like this. Okay. Our action is like this. On this, you have the myelin sheet. Wherever you had the Steven, you have the myelin sheet. Okay. So in between portion is there, right? This portion. In between this vacant place is there, right? Where there is no myelin sheet. This is called as node of Ranvier. So that's why Vijay told in the starting that, or in most of the books, in your own books, in your school books, you can see they will draw like this. Like this they will draw. Like this only they have given in this book. The axon diagram, when you see, it's given like this. Like they draw the dendrites. Okay, they draw the dendrites. Then they draw this axon. Then they draw this. They draw this nerve endings. And here they will put the myelin sheet like this. Okay, so this is the same thing what I am drawing. This structure only in the book they draw like this. And the portion in between them, they call it as node of Ranvier. So node of Ranvier is the portion where you don't have the myelin sheet, or where there were no myelin secretions, or where there were no Steven cells. Okay, so this is actually a non-myelinated sheet. Okay. Another thing I'll tell you here. Now, these places, okay, these places, you have the plasma membrane, right? Because you know that what was getting rolled, what was getting coiled, it was the plasma membrane of the Steven cells, right? So that's why in some of the books you can see that they also write it as axolemma. Axolemma means the plasma membrane on axons. Okay, the plasma membrane on axons. Correct. Okay, now the previous picture I have drawn like this, right? That is, this was the plasma membrane and this was the cytoplasm, right? Now this plasma membrane has got coiled over the axon. What will happen to the cytoplasm? Once this coiling is complete, this cytoplasm will just go and make a cover on it. Okay, it just settle on the top. Okay. So we call this cytoplasm of Steven cell as neurolemma. So these are the two terms you will, get it in the higher classes. One is the axolemma and one is the neurolemma. So neurolemma is nothing but the cytoplasm part of the Schwann cell, and axolemma is the plasma membrane part of the Schwann cell. Okay. Now another one information. All these myelin sheets, these are the myelin sheets. Okay, all these myelin sheets, they are insulated materials. They are insulated material. And you all know that the messages in our body get transferred in the form of electrical impulse. Right? It get transferred in the form of the electrical impulse. So what happens? It will not travel like this inside our axon. Like it will reach, you have dendrites, the dendrites will receive the messages. Okay, then don't think so that it will just travel straight ahead from the axon and it will reach the nerve ending. No, it didn't happen. It did not happen in that way as it is written in the book. Okay, because these myelin sheets are insulated, they cannot transmit electricity. So how our electrical impulses go? They jump and go like this, like this. They go through each and every node of Ranvier. Because they jump and go, they skip and go, the electrical impulses, they travel so fast in our body. You have touched a hot pan, immediately you remove your pan. Remove your hand from the pan. So the message has gone to your brain, a decision is taken that you have touched something hot and you have suddenly removed it also. So how it is so fast? It is so fast because it need not have to travel the complete axon. It can just jump from node of Ranvier's and it can go. Did you understand? So the myelin sheets, they are insulated material. Okay. Got it? See, I'm just writing everything.
Yes,
Then
ma'am.
afterwards, you can make your own notes. Okay, just listen to me, then you can make your own notes. Another one thing, I told you about the axon hillock, right? This portion. I told you about the axon hillock, right? Anyone who is having doubt, what is axon hillock? The neck region, that is the portion where the cytone, the cell body joined with the axon, this portion. Okay, this portion. This is called as axon hillock. Okay, and it has a very famous point in it. Okay, these axon hillocks have Nissel's granules. Okay, you can see the Nissel's granules not only in the hillock, it will start from here, like here. It is not present in the it is not present in the axon. Okay, it is completely present in the cell body till axon hillock. Okay, now what is the function of this Nissel's granule? They have RER and free ribosomes. What is RER? Any idea? You might have
Rough
studied.
endoplasmic reticulum.
Correct. So you have an organelle in your body called as ER. Like you have mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, like that. You have an organelle in our body called as ER, which we call it as endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. In that you have two types of endoplasmic reticulum, RER and SER. RER stands for rough endoplasmic reticulum. SER stands for smooth endoplasmic reticulum. If an endoplasmic reticulum is RER, it means that it contains ribosomes. Okay, it has ribosomes on its body. If it doesn't have the ribosomes, we call it as SER. So this Nissel's granule has RER. It means it has ribosomes. Few ribosomes are attached to ER, which we call it as RER. And there are few free ribosomes. And now what is the function of the ribosomes?
Ma'am, synthesize protein.
Protein. So that's all. So the Nissls granules are associated with the synthesis of proteins, to be very in a nutshell. Did you all understand all the points? I'm giving you 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. Please analyze everything what is written. Make your notes, proper notes. Okay, although I'll give you the points now, but just make all the notes because I've included so many things in this. Please write it point by point. And this is like 90% of your 12th standard. Okay, this is the base. If you not understand this base, you will never ever understand the nervous system. You cannot attend the questions. Okay, like for your knowledge, it's a point on the axon is node of Ranvier. So what happened? What is node of Ranvier? Why the electrical impulses are fast? Why it touches the node of Ranvier? Why it doesn't touches the myelin sheath? All those things. Okay, please make it fast. Let me know once you finish. Over. Please let me know if it's over.
Over, ma'am.
Okay, now. Okay, so the axon part, I made it very clear. Now I'll go to the ending part, okay?
What is neurolemma?
Which one? Axolemma is the plasma membrane.
Can you please explain this?
Yeah. See, when I told you, right? When you see the Stevens cells, the cell is there and then it is been elongated, right? So what happens? First, the plasma membrane gets enrolled or coiled around the axon, then the cytoplasm will just go and sit on them. Okay, so the cytoplasm part of the Schwann cell is called as the neurolemma. And the plasma membrane part of the axon is now surrounded first with the plasma membrane, then on the top cytoplasm. So the down layer which has the plasma membrane is called as axolemma, and the top one is called as the neurolemma. That's it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we will move on to the last thing, that is nerve endings. Okay. Now see. This is your dendrites. Okay, I mean your cell body. Then you have the axon. Then I told you that you will have the nerve endings like this. Okay, and this is your nerve ending of one neuron. Then next, what will happen? Again, there will be a dendrites. Then you will have the next one like this. Okay, so this is called as the nerve ending of one neuron, right? Now, what happens when the electrical, when the messages comes, it will pass through one neuron in the form of electrical impulse. Okay, but in the center, that is at the junction of two neurons, at this place, okay, it is converted into a chemical impulse. Okay, because something is released in between these. Because of that, this electrical impulse get converted into a chemical impulse. Again, this chemical impulse is converted into a electrical impulse. It goes in that way. We call it as neurotransmitter impulses. Okay, that I'll talk afterwards. So now, how or like what happens in the nerve ending that these electrical impulses get converted into some chemicals. Some chemical is generated here. That's why it is called as a chemical impulse. Okay, so we'll talk on that. Okay, before that, in the nerve endings, you have certain certain points. So these one, okay, these round, these are called as synaptic node. You know, right? This is called as synapse or synapse, the junction between the two neurons. This you are aware of it, right? See, there is one neuron. See, our complete nervous system is made up of billions of small neurons. So the gap or the junction between the neuron is called as a synapse. Correct. So that's why this is called as a synaptic node. Okay, this is called as a synaptic node. And inside this synaptic node, now I'm just going to zoom it here. Okay, I'm going to zoom the synaptic node. This is the synaptic node. Okay, inside the synaptic node, you will have some vesicles. Okay, it is called as synaptic vesicles. Okay, synaptic vesicles. Synaptic vesicles. Okay, this synaptic vesicles have, and this part of this one, this branches, which has the synaptic node. This is called as axonal branches. Okay, I mean the axonal branches hold the synaptic node. Okay. Anything else? Yeah, that's all. Right. So now inside this synaptic node, there are some vesicles. Like you might have seen in the amoeba and all, they have food vacuoles, food vesicles in which food is stored. In the same way, this is synaptic vesicles. Inside this only you have the chemical, which we call it as neurotransmitter. Okay, it's called as it has neurotransmitter. This is actually the chemical. Okay, and what is the name? What is the chemical name of this neurotransmitter? Acetylcholine. Okay, Okay, this is very, very important. Name the neurotransmitter. Even I think it is there in your 10th standard book also. I think it's just given as I don't think so that it has been given as acetylcholine. It is just given that at the end of the axon, the electric impulses set off the release of some chemicals. That's all. Which is that chemical? Which is that neurotransmitter? Acetylcholine. Right. These chemicals cross the synapse and start a similar electric impulse in a dendrite of the next neuron. That's what I said. Electric impulse, then you have a chemical impulse, then you have an electric impulse. So what is the chemical impulse? Where the chemical impulse is generated? In between the synapse. Okay, because of the release of this neurotransmitter. Okay, now what happens as soon as the message comes inside, like the message has reached to the dendrite, from the dendrite it has gone to the axon, from the axon it has gone to the synapse. Okay, I mean the message is now in the synaptic node. As soon as the messages are striked on, they get striked on the synaptic vesicles, they just go and attack on the walls like this. Okay, they go and hit themselves on the walls, and as soon as they are hit, what happens? They will release this neurotransmitter. Okay, they will release this neurotransmitter. Okay. Did you understand the complete process?
Ma'am, I have a small doubt, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me, please.
Ma'am, so if they don't hit, the neurotransmitters won't be produced, no, ma'am?
No, there will be no coordination in our body.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, the messages are being, because see here inside the neuron, the messages are being sent in the form of electrical impulses. Then in the synapse, you don't have anything, right? It is just a junction. So how will it cross from here to here to the next neuron? So that is being transmitted with the help of acetylcholine.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. Yeah. So now this is actually the basic, like if this is clear, only if I go to the next level, you'll be able to understand. Okay. So is this clear? Can you imagine it in your mind? Girida, that's what I was looking, who left. Okay. Girida, you were there when I was explaining?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. Okay. Now, see, this is like to the very low level, what happens? Okay, just to give you a picture. Now, I mean, why it, see, a synaptic vesicle is there. It is because when it receives the message, it is just going and pushing the, getting hit on the walls, and it is releasing the neurotransmitter. Okay. Behind this, there is play of, some ions and all. Okay. So I'll try to explain that. Is this over? So just try to understand and keep this in picture that there is a continuous flow of calcium plus inside your synaptic node. Okay, just keep this thing in your mind. The calcium Ca plus will get inside the synaptic node whenever a message comes and hits the synaptic node. Right. This much you just keep in your mind, then I'll give you the flow chart. Shall I rub?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can just make a flow chart, that is synaptic node has synaptic vesicles known as neurotransmitter. Please keep these notes very safe. This might not help you to prepare for your board exams, because board exam this much is not needed. Only the first part which I have taken, only that is needed, and you will come to know when you read. So what I'm telling you that this part, whatever I'm teaching you now, okay, is in your 10th standard control and coordination chapter. Okay, control and coordination chapter, you just go for a reading. Okay, and you can see that just 20 to 30 level is given. Okay, if you are more interested, you can take 11th and 12th book and read. Okay, I'm talking about NCERT over here. So you can take your 12th, 11th and 12th book and you can read and try to understand it. Okay, that's, please do this thing. Okay, so please keep your 10th, 11th, 12th biology book handy with you. Okay, once I complete something, try to read it from the 10th, 11th and 12th. Get it fixed in your mind. If you see any extra information is given in the book, please write and keep it. That's enough. Okay, please do that. At least for this nervous system, you do that. Okay. Now, what happened? Yeah, after this acetylcholine. Next is that when signal reach in the form of neurotransmitter, neurotransmitter, it will lead to the channel opens which bring Ca+. Okay, this is what I told you, that as soon as the signal is coming, there will be a channel which gets opened and which allow the flow of calcium plus inside. Okay, now what happens, this calcium plus, I'm just writing it on the top. You can make it in the form of a flow chart. Okay, this calcium plus will make the vesicles to attack on membrane. Okay, this is what I told you, like it gets attacked of membrane. C is not there. Okay, membrane. And when it gets attacked, what happens? The vesicles will burst and it will release the neurotransmitter. Okay, so this help in release of neurotransmitter from membrane. Okay, from membrane in the sense from the vesicles you can write. Okay, and this has a process which is very, very important. This particular, like when there is an inflow of the calcium, and the calcium will make the vesicles to go and hit on the walls, and thus the neurotransmitter is released. Okay, this has a process called as exocytosis. Okay, exocytosis. Okay, now here I just want to bring one twist over here. Okay, just think that there is a muscle in between. Okay, now see, now I gave you a picture like there is a neuron, and it's happening. Just, it is not like only in your body neuron is there, right? So in between your muscles, suppose you are touching a hot pan. Okay, the same thing is happening. Your message is going through the neuron of your finger, and in between what is coming? Muscles of your hand. Okay, so now let me tell you one thing. Suppose this is our synaptic node. Okay, in between you have a muscle. Okay, so see the axon. See, actually the axon it can give the information in two types. Axon can give information to the axon or the dendrite of the next neuron, or it can give the information to the another muscles. Right? When it is a hot pan, when you're touching a hot pan, it is not that message is just going to the brain and coming down. There is a connection between your neuron and your muscles, because you have to remove your hand. Okay, so now the axon actually work in two ways. It gives the information to another neuron, and it also has to give information to another muscles. Okay, so there is another one name for when the information is being given to another muscles. It is called as end plate. Okay, it's called as end plate. Okay, so now suppose there is a muscle here.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, how long does it take for the message to pass and end to the muscle to
Yeah,
get the information?
that's what
Muscle?
on the muscles, that's what I'm explaining here. On the muscles there are some receptors. Okay, on the muscles there are some receptors which is called as acetylcholine receptor. Okay, they have the ability to attract or receive the acetylcholine. That is a neurotransmitter. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now there are some other names like the junction. See, when it is the junction between a neuron and a neuron, we call it as a synapse, or you pronounce it as a synapse, whatever it is. Okay, so a junction between the neuron and a neuron is synapse. What is a junction between a neuron and a muscle called as? It is called as synapse cleft. Synapse cleft. See, whatever I'm teaching, if you're able to get at least 20 or 30% also, I'm very happy. Okay, because I know that I'm teaching far high than your level. Okay, let it be. Now it looks, you need not have to, you're not going to write the NEET exam tomorrow, day after tomorrow, after 1 month. Okay, so understand this, keep the notes with you. I'm very sure that it will make your, see, because if I have to take a lecture on the nervous system, it will just end up within 15 or 20 minutes. As I told you, maximum half an hour. I have to just explain the neuron and go off, because that is only there for your 10th standard level. But then, as I told you, there's no need of being in Guruji, right? So whatever your teachers are teaching in the school, whatever is there in the book, okay, just one page about the nervous system, if you just read it off and go, then there is no use of, paying over here and sitting here 1.5 hours. Okay, so I'm giving you a complete overview. You just now understand, keep all these points. Again, when you read it for the level of your 11th, 12th, or for your entrance examinations, surely we'll be taking this again. Okay, because the same topic when I take for a NEET level, it is entirely different. Okay, the same system goes for 3.5 hours. Okay, that is entirely different. Okay, so if the foundation is clear now, you can easily build up. Okay, right? Now another one name is there, synapse cleft, you understand? Another one name is there. In some of the books, they write it as pre-synapse and post-synapse. Actually, the lobe is called as a pre-synapse. That is the one which comes before synapse. Okay, so that is called as pre-synapse, and usually the muscle is called as post-synapse. The pre-synapse and the post-synapse are the terminologies used when there is an exchange of information between the lobe and the muscle. Do you understand? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So now I'll continue this flow chart. Shall I rub this? Please write.
Ma'am, 1 minute, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What about others? Finished? Yeah. Sri Lakshmi, is it over? Sri Hari and all? Vijay, Sri Hari, and Giridhar. Where is Giridhar? Giridhar left. He's having some network issue. Okay, right. Okay, so now I'll continue the steps. Okay, after exocytosis. Yeah, so after exocytosis, what happened? The receptors. I'm talking about this receptor. Which receptor? The receptors which are there on the muscles. Okay, the receptor on muscles will remain. Okay, yeah, one more thing I want to tell you, that these receptors are there, right? Acetylcholine receptors, they're not always open. Okay, because see, 24 hours you are not going to be in a danger. Okay, 24 hours you are not going to touch a hot pan, right? So our receptors, or the actions, what we can say, the voluntary actions, okay, which you want to take is only on need basis. Okay, see, normal, you are thinking something, that time there is no connection between your neuron and your muscles. You are thinking from your brain. Okay, suppose when you're doing some work or you're having some muscle interaction, that time only what happened, there is an interaction should happen between a neuron and a muscle. So on a general basis, our receptors on the muscles will remain closed or inactive. As soon as this vesicles get hit on the wall and the neurotransmitter is released, and then only what happens, this gets activated, the receptors get activated. Okay, so the receptor on muscles will remain inactivated unless neurotransmitter make it activate. Okay, then what happened, it gets activated. Now after it gets activated, okay, there is something called as generation of action potential. Okay, this is another new terminology which I have to discuss. Okay, because further movement of like action potential in the sense like the further movement of our electrical impulses, okay, will take place only when there is action potential generated. Okay, so next I have to, like we call na, like the nerves will be transmitted in the form of nerve impulse. It's like an impulse which is going in our body. Okay, so this nerve impulse is nothing but the generation of the action potential. Okay, so now I need to talk about the action potential. So I'll just tell you, okay, just keep in your mind, take the notes. Okay, I don't know how far you'll be able to understand it or relate it, but if you complete this and go and read your 11th, it's there in 11th standard, right? 11th or 12th, okay, somewhere, then you'll be able to clearly understand the action potential. Okay, So action potential is actually what is happening. This complete impulse, what we are saying now, see how electricity is, you have studied physics, right? How electricity is transferred in our body. It is transferred, what is electricity? It is movement of charges, movement of electrons. Okay. So in our body, the messages are also being transmitted in the form of electricity, electrical impulses, nerve impulses. So it means that in our body also there is some flow of ions. If I want to tell you in a very simple way. So you think that some message is going, we always say that the message is going, message. Actually, what is happening? There is some movement of the ions in your body. There is some up and down in the number of ions in your body, which is actually creating the potential, action potential. And if there is no action potential generated, it's impossible that the nerve, that's why they say, like the people who are whose nerves have become weak, or as the people become old, they are not able to take the decisions. Why? Because their body has decreased the capacity of forming the action potential. There is no correct distribution of the ions or the flow of the ions in their body, which leads to behavioral problems and all, right? So I'll just take this nerve potential, just try to understand. Okay. Shall I rub this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, nerve impulse. Okay, the first one. See, now this is your muscles. Okay, right? Your body. Just take it as your body, your muscles, whatever. Yes, okay. First, we'll take the situation when your body is at rest. When you're resting. Okay. So don't think that when you're resting, your energy is not used up. It means like if you 3 days or 4 days you sleep, you don't want the food. It's not like that. So when your body or your muscles are at rest also, it is generating the ATP. Okay, ATP is generated, right? Now, what happens at rest? The first stage is at rest. Okay, here what happens? There is a channel here. Okay, there is a channel which we call it as sodium potassium ATPase channel. Okay, so through this channel, what happened? There will be entry of the sodium, there will be release of the potassium, or there will be entry of the potassium, release of sodium. So through this channel only, there will be shifting of the sodium and potassium ions. The movement of the sodium and potassium ions take place to create the action potential. Okay, so when your body, so there are 3 cases. Okay, the first case is like when your body is at rest. So when your body is at rest, what happens? From inside, 3 sodium, 3 Na plus will go outside. Okay, and instead of that, 2 K plus will come inside. Okay, 3 Na plus is going outside and 2 K plus is coming inside, right? So now, can you tell me whether the number of positive ions inside will go up or go down? What happened? Have I asked you a very tough question? From inside, 3 positive ions are given out, that is sodium ions. In exchange, we are taking only 2 positive ions inside. If this goes on, will the amount of positive charge increase or decrease inside the cell? I mean, inside the muscles?
Decrease, ma'am.
Of course, right? Because see, from this 3, you are giving 3, but you're taking only 2. So there is always a deficiency of 1. Okay. So this is continuously going on, right? So what will happen? There comes the deficiency of positive ion inside. Okay. This will lead to a stage called as resting membrane potential stage. Okay. And if you want to get its value, it is actually minus 70 microvolt. Now you see, it is your body, but everything is actually given in an electrical way. You have charges. So when your body is in resting membrane potential stage, 1 minute. Yeah, so it brings to a value of minus 70 microvolt, right? So please understand, when your body is at rest, your muscles should have a resting membrane potential of minus 70 microvolt. Okay, only when it is minus 70 microvolt, what will happen? Your nerves can get excited. See, you are resting. Okay, suddenly, suddenly you were in a resting phase. Suddenly, accidentally, what happened? You touched a hot pan or something. So if you want your body to react, if you want your nerves to get excited, then you have to ensure that, not you have to, already your body will ensure that it is at minus 70 microvolt. Did you understand? And suppose if it is not at minus 70 microvolt, so it will take some time for you to get exaggerated. Sometimes when we are touching a hot pan, you can see with few people, mainly the old age, or if they have some disease and all, they are not able to remove their hands at an instant. It takes some time because their body has gone aged, or they have some other disease. Because of that, when the body was in resting, it is not able to maintain minus 70 microvolt. Okay, so at minus 70 microvolt only the nerves get excited. Okay, now the nerve has got excited. Now we are coming in the second stage. Okay, second stage, what will happen? The Na plus channel get open. Okay, in the first case, what was the channel? NAK ATPase channel. This was activated. In the second case, which channel is getting activated? Na plus channel. Okay, Na plus channel is getting activated. So it will, what it will do? It will push complete Na plus ions from outside to inside. So what was the problem here? That inside, why our body has come into resting membrane potential stage? Because there were less number of sodium inside. So now what happened? Your nerves have become excited. Now suddenly what will happen? They'll take a quick decision. They start pulling all the sodium from outside to inside to make a balance. Okay. Now at this stage, what will happen? Now what? This is at the minus. Why it is minus? Because the positive ions were less. Now as soon as it will start pushing the sodium ion from outside to inside, someone left. What happened? Srihari and all left. Srihari and who was there? One more. My voice is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. You're able to understand, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yeah. So from outside to inside, when the sodium ions will come from outside to inside, the amount of positive ions will again go up. Okay, because we are pulling the sodium from outside to inside. So now what will happen? From minus 70 microvolt, now it will change to plus 30 microvolt. Did you understand? From minus 70 microvolt, it will now change to plus 30. It has increased. The positive ions have increased. Okay, and this number will lead to the generation of action potential. So it means that when you are at the rest or when the value is 70 microvolt, you cannot take a decision because your nerves are not excited. Your nerves will get excited or your impulses will start flowing in your body when there is an attainment of action potential at plus 30 microvolts. Okay, in some of the books, this is also called as depolarization. Very important terms, okay? Depolarization or action potential. Okay. Got it?
Yes.
Okay. Now what happened? As the plus C, always there should be an exchange. When plus C is coming out inside, the minus has to go out. Now you see, from minus 70 microvolt to plus 30 microvolt, there was an exchange of Na plus and K plus. Okay. So side by the K plus was going out. Okay. And this happened for a longer time. Did you understand? This happened to a longer time. That the K plus was moving from inside to outside for a longer time. So what happens? The process goes so long that from plus 30 microvolt, again it comes down to minus 90 microvolt in the third step. Okay, so actually it is from minus 70 microvolt to 30 microvolt, right? This process is called as depolarization, right? Then again, what should happen? The cycle should continue. Again, this 30 microvolt should reach to minus. That is, suppose you touched a hot pan, all the impulses were done, you have taken the action, everything. Then again, your body should come in rest, right? It should not be always in excited form. When it is plus 30 microvolt, it means your body is highly excited. Your nerves are highly excited. It should not be like that. You have to cool down. So from plus 30 microvolt, again it has to go to minus 70 microvolt to give a rest to your body. So when it goes from plus 30 to minus 70 microvolt, it is called as repolarization. Okay. But in between, these steps happen. Instead of going from 30 microvolt to 70 microvolt, it reaches 90 microvolt. Because, K plus is keep on going outside for a longer time. So that non-stop it is going. So instead of stopping at 70, it goes to minus 90 microvolt. Again, then from minus 90 volt, it has to bring back to minus 70. That is your fourth step. From minus 90 microvolt, you will again bring it back to minus 70 microvolt. This has a name. Okay, this period has a name which is called as refractory period. Did you understand? Please try to analyze. This is how your impulses are going. It's not as simple you think. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is the complete nerve impulse. It is given in an explanatory form in your books, in your 11th book. Okay. So or you just Google it out, learn it from the Google. At least try to understand what is given, whether you're able to understand it, or what is this, everything. Okay. And this, see, one more term, you can write it if you want. First, it is minus 30, minus 70. From minus 70, it is coming to plus 30. That's called as depolarization. From plus 30, actually, repolarization should happen and it should go back to minus 70. But what's happening? From plus 30 microvolt, it is going to minus 90 microvolt. Okay. So this also has a name. Sometimes they will ask in the NEET. It is called as hyperpolarization. Okay, it's going hyper. So this is called as hyperpolarization. Okay. So depolarization, repolarization is the main one. Sometimes what happened in your book, it will be like in the entrance exam, they sometimes ask for the hyperpolarization also, right? So I think I made it clear everything. Okay, I have taken everything.
Ma'am,
Yes,
excuse me, ma'am.
yes, yes.
Ma'am, the full form of MV, ma'am.
Microvolt.
Yes, ma'am.
So then the next session I'll be taking, if I get a chance to again handle this. So I'll be dealing with the brain also. Okay. Little more about the brain. So 5. Can you just make this chart? Is this over? Is this over?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If you want, I'll just give you. You just have this drawing. It's like nervous system. Okay. There are two nervous system, central nervous system. I'll take this again. PNS. Okay. What is PNS? Peripheral nervous system and central nervous system. Okay. So in central nervous system, you have your brain and spinal cord. I had this, I mean, mapping in my note, and it integrate information.
What is the full form for PNS, ma'am?
Peripheral nervous system.
Can I have the spelling, ma'am?
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
So it integrate information received from peripheral nerves and coordinates bodily response. Okay, peripheral nervous system, on the other hand, you have the cranial and spinal nerves, and it mainly communicate between CNS and body. Then the PNS, you can actually divide it into two. One is the motor division. That is your motor areas, your hand, legs, and all, right? And another one is the sensory division. Okay. So this has actually motor neurons. Motor neurons, and it conduct signal from CNS to effect. And it has sensory neurons. And just to do this division, that's enough. Motor division is of two types. One is the somatic nervous system. Okay, another one is the autonomic nervous system. Okay, so in somatic nervous system, what happened? They actually control the voluntary movements. What is voluntary movement? What do you mean by
And the
voluntary?
movements that we can control and do with
Yes.
consciousness.
Suppose if you want to move your hands, so it depends upon you. You have to take a decision. That's called as voluntary movements. Okay, your heartbeat and all is your BP heartbeat is not in your control. That's called as the involuntary action. Okay, very good, Vijay. This is involuntary. Okay, I think for and this is enough. Okay, because if I take other like even now effector, and all, I have to explain. Okay, right? That's all. So how was the class? Did you understand? Any doubts? Any problem?
The class was nice and interesting, ma'am.
It was interesting. Did you
I was
find it?
I was able to get more information than
Yeah.
my normal textbooks.
Yes, sure. Okay. So if possible, please go and refer your 11th, 12th, Google it out, extra knowledge on this. Okay, when you start, see, don't wait for your 11th standard, 12th standard and all, because time just flies out and you don't know what is the situation that time. Okay. So gather the information. If you are really want to crack the exams, okay, if you have really a dream in you, okay, so please don't wait for 11th and 12th and all. Okay, because that time you don't know what is going to be the situation, everything changes, right? So if today you have studied the nervous system, you understood something, Google the informations, okay, get it from the 11th, 12th book, have 10th, 11th, 12th books with you. Okay, try to get it, try to study on your own. Okay, if you put this much of effort only, you can achieve, your, right? You have to achieve it. There's no other go. Otherwise, it all goes, waste, right? So I always say like 11, 12, you will have so much of pressure from your school. You have so much to study physics, chemistry, and bio that you will not get time to even think of your dream. Okay, even to think of your dream, we don't have time. And at last, when the NEET exam is very near, or ICAR exam or JW exams are very near, the dates are out, we become serious. And then we don't have time. Whatever is there in our book, we just read that and go, and we are not able to crack it. Okay, so if you really have a vision, if you really want to get somewhere else, so please, you have to be very smart, okay, from a day to day, right? Okay, then thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.